Hi, everyone. It's Henry DeVries. Welcome to Agency Rainmaker TV. And this is where we take a look at how do you make it rain? How do you bring in the revenue? How does it rain dollar bills? In other words, business development. And I've got a very special guest, a legend in the world of business development, a double best-selling author. Please welcome Tom Searcy. Tom, how are you today?
Doing great. Glad to see you. Glad to be on the program again. It's fantastic. Always good to see you.
Well, Tom and I share a special bond. Uh, he was the lead author, and I was his co-author on How to Close a Deal Like Warren Buffett, now in Chinese. So we have an international bestseller to our
And
credit. Well, your agency, Hunt Big
Italian.
Sales. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
I should it's also in Italian.
It's in
Chinese and
Italian,
Italian.
yes.
That's
I
right.
hear we're big in Roma. Okay, Hunt Big Sales, your agency, your sales consultancy. Please tell us, who do you serve at Hunt Big Sales?
Predominant account base is between 10 million and $250 million companies, privately held, typically first or second generation owner operators that are running their business, who all want to grow dramatically. They want to increase their size as much as, say, double the speed which they had normally projected in their industry that they would want to double. So those are predominant customers. We get outliers as anybody else does, but that's our baseline.
Yeah. And family business, God bless America. That's so huge. That's really what's driven this economy and continues to drive it. And I know you always taught me, solve bigger problems for bigger players. That's where the money is. Tell us about your first book, Whale Hunting.
Whale hunting, that business or that book is coming in on its 20th year. And it's a metaphor about when you hunt large sales. It's like hunting whales the way the Inuit did it back 1,000 years ago. And it follows through the process of how you spot the whales out in the market, or in that case, the oceans. What do they look like? What are the characteristics? When do you hunt them? How do you hunt them as a team? How do you harvest them as a team? And it's all around that idea of whales, those really large accounts that are 5 to 10 times the size of your average account.
And you're going after them in a little boat. Okay, so that's whale hunting. And then your practice, how is it grown? By what do you do for them? What do you do for these companies?
With these companies, we help them by installing a system, a process for landing large sales over and over again. So it's not just training, which helps one sales representative get better, although we do some of that work. And it's not just teaching them how to hunt one very, very large deal, although we do that work on a coaching basis. But it's really about the install of systems and processes to make that work. And like I said, work again and again.
I was just thinking back. We found each other because of a cold call I made. I cold called you, and I said, my business coach says I have to make one cold call a day. You're it. So let's get this over with. A lot of pressure calling a sales expert.
That was, and it still stands as one of my very, very favorite calls ever. Let's get this over with quick. I thought to myself, wow, there's so many, that's such a leaping off point for so many other parts of conversations that should be left alone.
Sure, sure. Well, now let's get into the how. How do you make it rain at Hunt Big Sales?
We make it rain through several mechanisms. So I got to tell you, this generation, this era of being able to do digital marketing is what a blessing. I mean, I go all the way back to three-dimensional mail when you used to send things out, believe it or not, hard copy mail and t-shirts and coffee cups and whatever to get someone to respond. But right now, most of our work is, we have our own podcast called the Big Sale Illuminati, which covers all sorts of large sale opportunities. We reach that out in the marketplace. We put up reels and video content inside of LinkedIn and other social media platforms at least 3 times a week. We have an online internet location through YouTube. I mean, it just goes on and on. If you're a content producer or a creator, as they like to say, you are putting your name out in the marketplace. Everyone that is relevant to you, you're trying to reach through that type of digital, building the databases and then expanding them. And so that's how we make it rain, is actually creating an opportunity for somebody to see you as an expert and then to come back to you and ask for your expertise. Still online video programs, keynote speeches done online rather than getting everyone together, although that's starting to come back more than what it was before. That's fee-based. People pay us a fee to come in and do that. So lots of rain. Here's the thing, I guess I'd add, Henry, is that there is no one channel that we found for us works every time, all the time. We have to hit multiple channels. We have to hit it multiple occasions to find out more people to reach and to reach them at the specific time. I would imagine the people that you work with are oftentimes the same way. It's not a one and done world anymore. And you know, and so you have to be out there all the time.
There's no silver bullet. There's do this one thing, though people call me up every day trying to sell me some one thing that's going to make the difference. But what I learned from you is you have to recast the game. When people say, oh, are you a book writing and publishing company? I say, no, we're an agency authority book company. And you redefine the game. That's what you taught me. And also the authority position, because you're an authority in the books and the videos and the podcasts and this whole mix of what you do. And you can't spell authority without the word author. You're certainly a best-selling author. And you give that content away. You dice and chop it and slice it. And authorities attract people to them, and you're very attractive, Tom, and from a marketing standpoint, of course. Well, tell me about the book, The Secret to Big Sales.
Yeah, book just came out inside of the last 7 weeks. It's called The Secret to Big Sales, and it focuses on the language, the executive language of how to get in the room. And what we really talk about are the idea that you have to speak that language to go and see anyone. So if you don't speak the right language, you're not going to get a chance to discuss it. We like to say the fact that you get sent to whom you sound like. All right. Mm-hmm. So if you are at the wrong level, you'll get sent to that level. All right. You stay with those people you intrigue and impress. All right. And you close for those people who believe. So if you look at those 3 ideas, right, you get sent to whom you sound like. Any of your authors that are out there need to be writing in, talking about, putting up on any of their digital media and speaking in their keynotes at a language level that's appropriate to the people that they're trying to reach and have the conversation. For us in The Secret to Big Sales, we're telling salespeople, if you want to be talking to CEOs and CXOs, you need to be at that level of conversation. It doesn't mean multisyllabic words that are out there and making yourself MBA as far as that style or approach, but you do have to be relevant in a very new and different way. Otherwise, you'll just get delegated off to someone else. Well, if you can get sent to that person, and the fact of the matter is you're there, how do you stay there? Well, the only way to stay there is that you're intriguing them or impressing them with the ideas that you're bringing to the table. And finally, the other last part is that they're going to close. Those deals will close if people believe you, which means the entire process requires the development of trust. So through that, and the book itself is about that attainment of the level of language and conversational approach and style that will put you with those CXO people, keep them all the way till the point that it closes.
In the old Broadway musical and movie, The Music Man, you have to know the territory. Now you have to know the language and the priority of the C-suite. It's so crazy that people call me up all the time and and they just start blathering without ever asking me what my priorities are, and to see
Right.
if what they're talking about is a priority for me or not. And if it's not a priority, they're dead in the water. So this
this
is so
goes back
important.
to
I
you
think the
though.
book has many wonderful things. Also, the story you need to tell, and you need to be a storyteller. You and I share a belief in that. So this is great, Tom. I wish you success with the book and continued
Thank you.
success at Hunt Big Sales. And I just wanted to say to everybody, stay tuned for another episode. And until then, make it rain.